Hello, 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 everyone. Greetings from London, UK. Um, Here we are once again, one last time.
Yes.
Welcome to your time to talk. How are you doing, Faye?
I'm well, thank you. All right, nice. It's glad to be here, be seeing you again, and thinking, oh yes, one more time, last time. There'll be more first times and last times,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah. Everything is cyclical. So we come and go, we start and finish and restart and then progress and carry on.
Yeah,
That's life. But
it is.
if you happen to just dial in, we bring this. Welcome to Time to Talk. Time to Talk is where we talk about mediumship. We have these, well, we used to have, now it's the final one. We have our bi-weekly meetings every couple of weeks on Tuesdays, where we meet to talk about mediumship, and we brought different topics throughout this time since we started. And unfortunately, we reached a point where we feel the need for that format of program is changing a little bit. So we consulted, we talked about it, we reflected upon it, and this is the closure. This is the last episode that we're going to do for now. We will have a think, reflect, ask for inspiration, think about what is next, so we don't leave this topic behind. But for the time being, Time to Talk will come to a stop tonight. So, although it brings me a bit of sadness, it also brings me a lot of joy to think about everything that we've done in the last 3 years. For one last time, let's say hello and thank you to our broadcasters. So, Time to Talk is brought to you by the Spiritist Society of London, SSL. It's a Spiritist group in the UK where we are dedicated to studying Spiritism. We have multiple sessions during the week, online, face-to-face. If you'd like to know more about it, go check our page. SSL is affiliated to BUS, the British Union of Spiritist Societies. And BUS is a union, a federation. Well, it's like a federation. Purpose is to unite the different Spiritist groups here in the UK and try to expand them, support them, connect them. BUS also organizes a lot of different initiatives, a lot of content and material about Spiritism, so go check their page and follow their channels. And last but not least, Kardec Radio, which has also been around for many, many years now, committed to bring to you Spiritist content in English around the world. Go check their page and like them so you don't miss on their content either. Episode 70, that's what we have today. And as I said, today's closure. And it's bittersweet, but on the other hand, it gives us a very good excuse to have a very open conversation about anything. And I think what comes to mind is reflections from the last 3 years. We brought up different topics, we brought up guests, we changed hosts, and there was a lot of participation, there's a lot of conversations. What are we taking from it? What were the highlights? What were the things that changed? That's the reflection and the ask we're going to leave tonight. So if you are here with us, as usual, send your hello, send the name, where you're from. We're going to bring up here, we're going to say hello back to you. And also, from mediumship, if you've seen a program before, why don't you bring to us one of the questions or topics that you thought that were more interesting or more useful? Or if there's anything still a bug in your mind, why don't you drop them on the chat, and then we'll bring them up here. We're going to have a conversation about that. I've been talking a lot since we started. So, Faye, you. Reflections from the last 3 years.
Yes, well, all this exercise of reflecting on the various topics has been wonderful. Not always easy, not always simple, but wonderful nevertheless. And it got me with this idea that mediumship, this experience is forever. I don't know what's going to happen next time. When it comes next time, we'll sort it out. But the experience, this is forever. It is blessed, and it's enlightening. And that this series and the amount of reflections and reflecting on things, so that we could bring you all ideas to be shared, things that could be thought-provoking to you and to us. Oh yes, we had to think a lot. Has brought us, I hope it has been for you as it has been for us, opportunities of insight and foresight, in the sense that it brings a new focus. Because from every bit of insight, there was a new shift, there was a new focus, and it was like a flashlight shed on the way, so that we could have a firm step forward. It didn't have to be many steps. We didn't, and sometimes we would go too far, but the next steps would be surer than the previous. So we would trust the guidance, and we trust the understanding to move on one more bit. And isn't that what life is about? You know, the wheel is spinning, and it spins as we go with it. We don't go in a straight line, we go in spiral lines, don't we? And we go up and down and around in circles. And if that's true, then this means that we trace the same orientation, but only a step further. So the wheel is spinning. We get to this point, but not exactly the same point. It's a step further. So that's why I say it's a spiral. And in that spiral, we all meet. And when we meet, we're not the same.
Yeah.
We're never the same.
Isn't that a saying, Faye, that if a man goes into the river, the man comes out, the man will never be the same, and the river will never be the same?
Precisely. Yeah.
And I feel like it was a great journey, because you mentioned about the reflection and the preparation and stuff that goes into it. And every time I'm asked to do a talk, a lecture, I don't like to say that. Every time I'm invited to talk about a specific topic, I always say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to study, because I need to learn about this. I need to focus on this. I need to prepare myself. And usually, if I'm given the freedom to ask, freedom to choose the topic, I think about, what do I need to work on myself? I need to be selfish about this one. What do I need to work on myself? What do I need to learn? What do I need to change? And focus on that. And I feel like these last 3 years, having this program was that opportunity for me to learn and study and read and reflect a lot about mediumship.
Yeah.
And we went through some tricky topics throughout all these years, right?
Yes.
But what other way to understand, to answer to your doubts, to be comfortable with what we know and how we know it, other than facing it, putting yourself in this uncomfortable situation where you need to kind of figure things out and investigate and rethink. So I think it was 3 years of learning for me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting that when we say time to talk, there will be a time to talk to each other and time to talk to you guys, to all the friends and the people around us. Again, it will be the same in life. I mean, if I thought, well, if I had to talk about this particular aspect or this detail about mediumship, would I be prepared? Would I know what to say? Would I have something to refer to? Could I bring something significant to other people more than to me? Because could I be a strong speaker in the sense that I could, if I talked to a friend, just say, look, don't take my word for it, because I'm just telling you what I've heard, what I read. But you can go to this and that book or this and that lecture. Refer to that person. Listen to them. Think with them. And don't take my word for it. Which was the original idea behind this. Was that's how the Spiritist books were first made.
Yeah.
When with Caldas saying, well, don't take my word for it. You go, what do you think?
Yeah.
But what's the basis for your thought? What's the basis for your conclusion? And I think that develops. It doesn't have to be anything so compartmentalized. It can be informal, but inevitably it brings maturity, doesn't it?
I think you mentioned something that for me is key, and I've been thinking about what were the main, I guess, hopes that I had for all of these years with Time to Talk. And one of them was to bring that element of reasoning to the topic of mediumship. Because it's funny, because you mentioned, look, don't take my word. Go read, reflect, experiment, and so on, and get your conclusions. And behind Spiritism, we have that aspect, which is like understand what is behind what the message you are receiving, right? Not just from an incarnate, but a discarnate world, as I always talk about. If you're receiving messages and so on, submit that to be analyzed and verified by others. The same applies here. There's always an element of, okay, but who is saying that? Why did they say that? How did they get to those conclusions? And that is what will bring the solid knowledge and solid position behind something.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought about was mediumship is usually something that is easily associated with the occult or something, magical and
mysterious.
And I think our hope that one day somebody who's going through something or looking for something that only had exposure to that perspective on mediumship can find us and see how grounded we are, how much we are looking at mediumship from a very serious perspective, matter of fact, understanding that mediumship is just natural. It's part of our lives, our day-to-day. It's not something, ethereal and magical that is there. It's something quite sobering.
It is.
And
Yeah.
I hope that we have the chance for people to find this perspective as well.
Yeah, that's precisely very nicely put. Is the one key element of what we tried to do, to try to demystify a lot of things that were labeled as inaccessible, as mysterious, something that would be beyond understanding. This one thing, friends, is that we say there's nothing beyond understanding. There is the amount of growth, that there is the amount of information that anyone can acquire to understand things at different levels. I've already I said once, I find astrophysics fascinating. Can I talk about it? No. Do I like listening about it, seeing images? Oh, yes, I do. But if it's my aim to get to the point to lead a conversation, an intelligent, profound conversation with a specialist, with a scientist, what is it that I need to do? Is it barred? Am I out of this circle? Well, I'm not out of the circle in the sense that I've been kept out. It's just I did not step in. I did not choose to step in. But if I do, could I do that? Yeah. Nothing and no one is telling me that I cannot. So when we talk about any aspect of mediumship, when you say it's grounded, it's in that sense. It's not because I can't talk about it that I am necessarily kept out of it. There isn't anything like, look, I'm here, you there, this is my knowledge, take my word for it. No. Never.
Yeah.
And that is refreshing, because what we were trying to say to invite people is that say, look, yeah, we can talk about this, and that there will be people that can talk much and better and deeper with a lot and more resources than I could possibly do. I accept that, because I thought, well, I'm not brilliant. I can be better, but I don't think I'm brilliant to the point that I think that Rafael is brilliant and other people I like listening to are brilliant. But if I work hard in the way that he has worked hard and other people have, can I get better? Absolutely, I can. Do I choose to be there? Well, that's another story. Maybe not. Why? Because I feel I'm happy where I am, and I see a focus, and I see a way where I am. I don't have to be there. I don't have to be in other people's shoes all the time. But it helps if I learn to be tolerant and accepting that not everyone thinks like me or even sees things through my perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Faye. I wouldn't put myself as a reference, but thank you. I will say thank you for your compliment. We have a message from Gisela. Gisela is saying, the last episode of the series, but the first for me, looking forward to learning more about mediumship and mediumistic capabilities.
You're very welcome.
It's great to have you, Gisela, with us. We have 70 episodes of different topics available in our channel. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. But when you were talking, Faye, I kept thinking about the different. There are some items that we kept going back to. No matter what kind of subject we brought up, we would always go back to some specific items.
Yeah.
One of them was we were always talking about the organic element of mediumship.
Yes.
Because I think that's I like to use the word organic to mediumship to be very clear, to leave no doubt that mediumship is organic, is part of matter, is part of how we live now.
Yes.
And again, here we talk about mediumship in the wider term that everybody's a medium because everybody to a certain degree is able to interact, be influence spirits. Usually when we talk about mediumship, we talk about ostensive mediumship, which are people that have an additional element to them where they can hear, see, feel more clearly, sometimes even allow things to move or materialize and so on.
Yes.
But usually we associate mediums to those people, the people that have ostensive mediumship. We always go back to, yes, there are people that have those abilities. But in the end, mediumship is everywhere, every day, everyone. We kept going back to that because one of the key items that we always talked about in terms of developing your mediumship that is key to us is to know ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the things that we always go back to because we talked about the moral aspect of being a medium and how it's only by, being linked and dedicated to improving yourself and your habits, your thoughts. That's the only way that you can protect and help yourself as a medium. Because the spirits that will associate, connect, get involved with you, they will need to be in the same wavelength to be with you. How do you do that? Knowing yourself, dedicating yourself for your improvement. So, Faye, when you were bringing up the subject of I am not excluded from knowing and learning about mediumship, that came to mind straight away.
Yeah.
Because it takes your own free will and intention to want to learn, want to be involved, want to develop.
Yeah. And the thing is, and the belief and please accept the fact that you and anyone, you are very welcome to enter this world of information, of knowledge, in the sense that because the first, I think, rule number one, it is for me, rule number one from our highest references is investigate, question, ask, and discover. And there isn't, if there is one thing we do not have, is a forbidden area, something that's locked out. No, it's really, the sky is the limit in the sense that the more a medium knows, the more a medium understands, the better life is. Because of the points of view that developed, and the things that, oh God, I never thought about it. It's true. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing, we are people dealing with people, and dealing with people in different dimensions, here and there. Still people, but just as if we were to a huge university and you have freshmen and you have scholars, they're all people at different levels in that framework. Now, we'll talk to people, to freshmen, students, and scholars in life. And a life here that goes beyond that barrier and carries on. It's just, hello, what's still there is that whatever goes beyond that mirror is still acceptable. That point you said, oh, no, you shouldn't know that. You shouldn't even ask that. Don't even look. No. It's all life. And if we want to understand ourselves and help ourselves and our friends and spirits, people in another dimension, we've got to know how to understand people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can tell you for myself, I've always found myself a kind of a very girl in the sense that I'm not the keenest, cleverest, that I don't catch things in the air that easily. So I really need to pay attention to learn.
Nice, Faye. Let me say hello. We have another message here. That one is from Isaac. Hi, Isaac. He's saying that he's watching all the way from Kenya.
Wow. Hello, Isaac.
Nice to have you here with us.
Nice to have you. Yes.
Sorry, Faye. As you were speaking, I was thinking about the other element. I was looking at. I was thinking about elements that kept coming back.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yes.
And the idea of the understanding of the usage and the working. What is work with mediumship? There's also something that I think is one of the words that is probably repeated the most. If we were to get a transcript of all of the episodes, I think the word work will come up a lot.
Yes.
And I think that comes also from the understanding of where and how is mediumship applied, right? What is mediumship for? How to use it, and etc. And sometimes and usually people will find the first contact with mediumship through something that is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It might be something that they are suffering with, or there might be something that a family member might be going through, and so on. And it's difficult even to realize that is mediumship. And once that is a bit more discovered, then you go, okay, but how do I go about overcoming this, fixing it, and so on? And we would always say, look, we have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is it's not an on and off button that you can just press and plug and unplug as needed. But the good news is that there is ways of getting under control, understanding it, bringing it to a situation of balance. And that is by applying it, first of all, studying, learning, understanding, but most importantly, applying it and using it to help others. Others that might be still here on this side, incarnate like us, or others that are on the other side. They also need help. After all, we're all the same. At one point, we are here on this side, enveloped by matter. On the other moment, we are on the other side. And how is that? What is working with mediumship? And there's so many different things. We have healing. Healing is something that is present in history as something connected to the invisible world, let's say, since the beginning of history. And many Spiritist centers will offer that laying on hands where you can receive the healing energy that you need. Some other places also do the same, different aspects. We have the helping of others in what we call the rescue work, where we have specific mediums where we have a meeting and the mediums will receive the messages of spirits they are in need of help.
Yes.
And then somebody will talk to them and provide a bit of counseling and helping them to understand their situation, to receive the help that they need on the other side.
Yes.
We have the vibrations, specific moments where we are sending specific energy and donating the energy to other people that are in need, and many other aspects.
Exactly. Yeah, just as you said, just as if one wants to be prepared and qualified to be a counselor, to provide first aid or just counseling, to talk and provide and help people that are sad or in some sort of stress or in distress, to find balance, to find peace, and gather themselves together and to move on, to find a solution so they don't feel so lost at any given point in life. So does the medium need to prepare to work, because it goes with the understanding of what life entails in living this way, but also broadening that vision to be able to find people who, to help people who find themselves, who get the opportunity to communicate and ask for help. And people do ask for help. And so, so we need to be compassionate enough to be able to listen to people who still feel sad or in distress or lost or angry. And they say, well, you've got to listen. Well, I'm not taking this. They're not angry at me. They're not sad because of something that I have done. They're carrying it. So it's the medium's work to help them get rid of something that at that point is not real anymore. It's an illusion, but that it continues. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that, when you say, well, that's the physical element, the organic element of being a medium. And that takes preparation. And we've talked about it. Why mediums need to prepare, even help, look after their own health.
Yeah, physically, yeah.
Because it's energy, and energy is generated, so it doesn't come from the ether. It comes from a whole set of things, spirit and body working together to produce energy and be able to work.
Yeah. Not only that, right? Sometimes we were talking about receiving channeling as spirit is in need of something. That moment of channeling, that's a moment where that spirit who is suffering or feeling something uncomfortable gets in contact with the feelings, the energy of your body as a medium.
Yeah.
And therefore, you need to be as well as possible in your functioning, so that shock, let's say, between the two helps the spirits to kind of move away from whatever uncomfortable situation they are experimenting and experiencing.
Yeah.
We have a message here from Guilherme.
Yes. Hello, Guilherme.
Guilherme, it's super nice to have you in the beginning of our journey as well.
Yes.
Guilherme is saying, mediumship is something to be done for free with love and to help those that are suffering.
Absolutely. Yes.
I think this goes with what we're talking about work. But he brings up another word here, free. It needs to be done for free, should be done for free. And as we said, mediumship is around us, right? It's available everywhere. It's not something that is the propriety of Spiritism. It is what it is. Different groups, different religions, they will use mediumship in different ways, will call it different things, and it's up to them. But what we understand based on our reflections and studies is something is given to you for free, then you should use and share and give that back for free as well.
Yes.
So that element brings another word for me that is a word that we also mentioned episode after episode after episode. I think one of the episodes actually was just that word, responsibility.
Yes. Accountability, yes.
If we are mediums, if you're involved with mediumship or whatever that is, why is that? Why me? Why do I have this? What should I do with it? How to put that to use? We are all here in this life to learn, to progress, to come out of it better than when we started. So if there's something that is available to you, use it to help others, so that at the end of it, of this phase, you can come out of this life saying, there was some positive, some good stuff that I dedicated myself to, that generated impact for others. That will mean my dedication and donation of my time and my energy to work, to help others, to the ones in need, and so on. The responsibility is there, right?
Exactly. And like Guilherme says it many times, it's charity. So acknowledging, recognizing mediumship and making it and preparing it to be able to serve other people is a form of charity. And it's a form of charity that takes the medium as a whole. You know, so it doesn't matter. The medium will dedicate as much as as they can, because this means that every medium on this planet has to cope with life and on the planet and mediumship. It's not one thing or the other, and it's not one thing, forget the other. No, because we all have our duties, we all have our lives, and just as we have our preferences and things that are part of our nature as humans, as spirits, mediumship is one of them. But it's the one that can be put to and spreads to a huge number of situations and people. And if we've got it, again, it requires some energy and it generates some energy. And that energy is best if it's used, because it's like I say, go back, it's organic. the more you produce of that energy and it's used, it's renewed. And the body will feel if it's working, if it's flowing, or it isn't. Think of somebody who likes being active, that needs that the best for their balance is to be a sprinter. So there is this energy gathering and all the physical conditions to be a sprinter. And then for some reason they stop. Or they say, not today, not tomorrow. But the energy is still building up. The body feels this lack of the exercise. There will be an imbalance. There will be.
Yeah.
And it's not with major restriction, it's not different.
Absolutely.
How many times? Well, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable. There's this, that discomfort. It can perfectly be a lot of energy that's just accumulated. It's not being used.
Yeah.
For something positive.
Yeah. You were talking about that. I also thought of, we mentioned at the beginning, the wider aspect of mediumship. We're all mediums. We're all able to connect, to be influenced, and so on. And there was also that big question, which is, well, how do I know if it's mine or if it's not? And in many cases, there's something to keep paying attention, which is, if your thoughts are changing and you don't really recognize them, or if your mood is changing and you can't really point out, yes, so of course you have to investigate the medical reasons behind that, and mediumship will never replace that. But what if the source is outside? What is the source for that specific case? It's actually not necessarily a chemical imbalance. It might be, but it might not be.
Yeah, but once you realize that it isn't, and they say, well, look, here are all the tests, and everything's fine with you. There's nothing physically wrong with you. That may be a time to start wondering.
Exactly. Where that is coming from. And we were to go back to, but how do I know? Go back to know thyself. As we mentioned that a lot, like knowing yourself is key to understand and identify. As you start that exercise, after a while you realize, oh, this thought came from nowhere, or there's no reason why I'm feeling like this. So, oh, what's going on? Who is here? Why are you here? How can I help you? Let's move on from this. Just something else that came to my mind. Guilherme sent another question to us.
Please.
Where should I be looking for information about mediumship? Great question.
Well, there are lots of places to get information about mediumship. You can start from the books, the classic books, the books that have been written in the most unbiased way possible. Personally, I like books, but I like talking to people. I like listening to people. Because reading books alone is brilliant, but it always gave me a feeling of isolation, of distancing. I'd be distanced from the real people, So why not tap into any of the programs or find people to listen to and talk and interact with them?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I would agree. I was going to say the same. I think a couple of things that come to my mind is go to books, but which books? How to find them? How do I know which books to read and trust? And Allan Kardec is probably the one that you cannot go wrong with.
One, yes.
And you can find Allan Kardec's books online, available for free download, or you can find them to buy them online or in shops anyways. It's very easy.
Yes.
Kardec, he, in very short terms, he combined, analyzed, grouped all of the information, all of the knowledge that was brought to us through mediumship, categorized it, organized it, and made it into books that would explain the different aspects that came from the spirits. There's one book in specific, which is the Medium's book.
Mm-hmm.
And that book is a guide that explains the majority of the aspects about mediumship. It explains what was done and how to do mediumship meetings, how to go about it, what you need to be careful on it, how to prepare, and so on. So that would be a good one to start with. As Faye said, there's so many spiritist groups that are able to help you in that journey as well, that can provide you with additional support, opportunities to work, opportunities to learn. If you'd like to know more, for instance, about the spiritist groups here in the UK, you can go to BUS website, www.bus.org.uk, and there you have a list of all of the spiritist groups here in the UK. Those are groups that can help you out if they are local to you, or if you'd like to talk to them online, the information will be there. If you are not in the UK and you're looking for a group, feel free to contact us through BUS, and we'll be able to help you as well in the location that you are.
Yeah, and especially for those who are of English-speaking countries, or people who feel comfortable in speaking English, or with then there's a lot going on. There's a lot that's been done. The books that have been translated into English, lots of chats, lessons, reflections, lectures, all sorts done in English by people who are not of English origin. Sometimes they're Americans, but it doesn't matter. It's a language that has got now gives access to a huge amount of information, and all done in a very. We say lectures because they're not. They're classes. They're usually chats. Okay, we don't like. There is a formality in the sense that there's the respect that marks everything that we do, but it's not formal in the sense that it becomes inaccessible, that people cannot ask and even question. So there will always be someone, a group, someone who you feel more empathy, that you empathize, that you feel a connection. There is a sort of a chemistry with this group or that group. It doesn't matter. Or you may listen to some program and you feel, I'm not quite sure. Not because it's not what I'm expecting, not because they're not saying what I would like to hear, but sometimes it's just a matter of chemistry. Well, you don't have to be in group A, B, C, or Z. You will find the one that you think fits your moment, and they're all lovely and friendly and really down to earth, if you allow me. No pun intended, but yes. But in that sense that we're talking about practicality, the practical things in life, even if there's subtleties in life, they're still practical, they're still life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have one more question.
Yes.
So
Go on.
Gisela is asking us, that's a very good question. There's so much that can unpack from that question. How can a novice medium learn to differentiate between spirits of light and those spirits which might have misguided intentions? So many things come to my mind. But I'll let you go first, Faye.
So go on.
Right. Few things. First one that came to my mind is when you are in contact with a spirit, usually you feel how the spirit's feeling. And a spirit that is of light, who is trying to bring positive message, good intention, healing, direction, guidance in an elevated way, there will be an element of feeling in contact with that spirit for the medium that can tell about the real nature of that spirit. As the opposite of a spirit that has something heavier, misguided, disruptive. So I think the first element is that one. The second one would be, you know, people. How do you know somebody is a good friend or not? How do you know somebody is a good companion or not? How do you know if you want somebody as part of your group or not? It's by their fruits, right? You know a tree by their fruits. What is it that they are telling? What is the content? When are they sending the messages? Is it consistent? Are there other groups that you can contact and ask to validate the message, and to ask about the message that you are receiving? The consistency around the message that you receive will give you an indication of that as well. I touched a point which is the when things are coming. Mediumship, as I said, it doesn't have a on and off button, but through the process of learning and developing it, you learn to control it, bring it to a balanced situation. How do you do that? Is by the discipline of how you use it. If as a medium you start to realize, look, this is the moment in this group, because it's a group that I know it's serious, I know their intentions, I know what's behind it, I understand there's study around and so on, and I'm going to be involved with them, and I'm going to put my mediumship to use in that group every week, at this specific time, and so on. And you have a spirit that keeps coming and trying to not respect that and come in a different moment when it's an inconvenience to you, when that's already giving you an indication that perhaps that spirit's not connected with the discipline and seriousness of the work that you're involved. So that would be another indication. Yes, Faye?
We just happen to have a message from our benefactors.
Okay.
And he just said, well, with everything that you have said, and you've got to bear in mind the things that good spirits do and the things that they don't. And he says, they don't claim loyalty. They don't, if I understand what you say. Yeah, they don't claim loyalty. They don't claim a belief. They don't claim tokens or favors. They don't claim compensation or There's a word that deference. They don't claim deference. They will not claim to own the truth. And they don't claim possession of any knowledge about your private life. Because that is a mark of ethical behavior and respect. So whoever comes to you and claiming, I know this is the truth, is it? The light is blinking. Careful.
Yeah.
That's
great. It's a great way of kind of closing our conversation. Guilherme sent another message for just saying a big thank you for having this initiative on. And if I can, I would also like to extend my thank you to you, Faye. Thank you so much for being here with me, guiding me, helping me, sharing with me. Thank you to Guilherme as well in the beginning, his involvement, and to the many, many guests that helped us, Moni, Elsa. This initiative was an idea from Elsa, so I have to say thank you to her as well.
Yes,
many others that participated. It's been a pleasure. Go, Faye.
Yeah. Equally, I'd like to thank everyone who's ever dropped by and sent us a question, that shared their knowledge, that gave us their support. It's been an incredible journey, but one that this is only a step. If I may throw a spoiler. This is a phase, it's a cycle that has completed itself in this format.
Yeah. Well, as we said, we talked about work. The work never ends, so we'll see what's next.
Keep soon you'll probably hear from us again. Okay.
Good. So once again, thank you, everyone. This is it for us, but it's been a pleasure and very enlightening. And thank you for indulging us and giving us food for thought and guiding us in our studies and reflections.
Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Bless
God bless you.
Bless you too.